We are just having testimonies and discussions this morning, and we'll have Kimber come on at about 11. So join us on Zoom so you can say something.
And going, we have Passover and Feast of Unleavened Bread coming up. Passover is all about Jesus Christ. Everything is about Jesus Christ. When you go back to when it started, when putting the blood over the post, the lamb's blood, it was all looking forward to Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ as our example. I know there's some people that still talk about that today, but a lot of people don't talk about that.
Well, everything really major spiritually happened on one of the feast days.
That's right. And that's going to be the same thing at the time of the end.
Mm-hmm.
Morning, Brent. You're all dark there.
Morning. Marty, is that a
We don't.
picture of someone petting a cougar behind you?
Pardon?
Behind you, there's a picture.
Yeah.
Is that somebody petting a cougar?
It's a mountain lion. My parents and I helped get Calm ready to open, and Whiskers had been raised to be the mascot of Calm. And so Daddy wanted his picture made with it. And so anyway, we went out and got in the cage. And I'm the first one that had ever been in his cage with him that had a skirt on instead of pants. So he wouldn't go to Daddy. He was coming to me. So Mike, which was the one that was over Calm and had raised him, stepped between us because he says he'll tear it off of you. Well, what had happened? We were in the office with Mike, and this guy came in that had beaver traps, and he had trapped something that wasn't a beaver, so he brought it to us to get it well. And so anyway, he went out to Whisker's cage with us, and he had his little bottle of beaver scent with him. So when Whiskers wouldn't go to Daddy, he opened the beaver scent and gave Daddy the bottle of beaver scent. And so, of course, Whiskers went to the beaver scent. So we got a picture of Daddy holding on to Whiskers.
Wow. He might have been too interested.
Huh?
He might have been too interested in that sense of.
No, he was tame because he'd been raised from just a small kitten. He had been raised to be the mascot, so he was tame.
Yeah. Not too many people have a picture like that on the mantelpiece.
Huh?
Not too many people have a picture like that. As I was trying to figure it out, like, is that somebody petting a cougar, a mountain lion? Very cool.
So, Marty, that was here in California?
Here in Bakersfield, yeah.
Bakersfield.
You've never been to CALM? Never heard of CALM?
No.
Stands for California Living Museum.
Oh.
And everything has to be native to California. All the plants, all the animals. And Mother and I were landscaping the reptile house to get it ready for the grand opening. And one row we did like for the beach, another row we did for the mountains, and another row of the cages we did like for the desert. Well, we were going to use tumbleweeds. And I still find this hard to believe, and you probably won't believe me when I say it, but we could not use tumbleweeds. They are not native to California. They're native to Russia. And actually their name is a Russian thistle. So we couldn't use tumbleweeds.
Well, they were made here. They're made all over.
Yeah, well, they were imported from Russia, so they're not native to California, so we couldn't use them.
Mm.
Yeah, once you put those seeds, then they go everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Well, when I was young, we we live you know where I used to go to church is the Island District, and the Kings River goes around the Island District. Well, where my dad used to, after my dad retired, he went and worked for the Finleys who lived down on the Kings River. Down people, canoes, people rafting, they didn't go that far. This is south of there. And I told him, I said, one time I was out there throwing rocks and stuff. My cousins live about a quarter of a mile from the river there. And I heard these splashing. And I went and looked over there, and it looked like I saw a beaver. And then I went to ask my dad. I says, "But we don't have beavers in this area." And he says, "Oh yeah, we do. They're in the river. That's what you heard."
Hmm.
And that would have been clear back in early 70s. It was a long time ago.
And my dad used to take me fishing. The best spots we went to were the beaver dams.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah,
just,
they know where to build their housing, don't they?
yeah, these little mountain creeks become little ponds, and those ponds get full of fish, and best place. But yeah,
Poor fishies. That was cheating.
yeah.
Morning, Chris. And again, now there's more people on different places, so we are just discussing things, testimonies and stuff. So we don't have a speaker until 11. I shouldn't say that. We have lots of speakers. I can hear hammering. They're doing stuff out in the back, and they're building houses back there behind this house. I can hear them. It's crazy. It's so wet out there and cold and icy. And they get up on those roofs and scare me to death.
Where it's real slick.
Yep. But it's been really cold out in the mornings. Marty left us. Do you have anything to say, Ron? How was your day or your week?
It was good. Nothing spectacular, so that's always good.
Yep. That's a good thing. Now let's not be quiet, you guys.
Well, that was a pretty big storm that came across United States. Cold, snow, ice.
Uh,
California, the only thing we have to deal with is the fog.
well, depending on where you are,
Yeah, but here in the Central Valley.
right? I don't like rain when it's so hard you can't see, or snow when it's so hard you can't see. But fog, you just keep waiting for it to open up, and it's scary.
Well, the only time I've lived in snow was when I was in the Army, and that was in Maryland, Fort Detrick, Maryland, a bio level 4 lab. I worked with monkeys there, and when it snowed there, I know when we walked between the buildings, I thought it was real beautiful the first couple days, but then the snow was slushy, and your feet, your shoes, there was water in where we had ate. There was water that people's shoes would carry in wherever we went. And I said, man, people live in the snow, they can have this. then my sister, Irene, she went and took care of a lady in Sacramento. What she did was she was an in-home caregiver, and she would move in with families and take care of somebody. And she moved in and took care of this lady, Aunt Tessie. And I have a picture of it on my computer here of me taking care of her with Alan sitting on my lap. And uh, Mary Alice Lemon, when the governor of California back then, they had one special secretary. Mary Alice Lemon was that secretary. And so when I went over to visit her, two or three times I was in Governor Brown's governor's office. He wasn't there then. She showed me, and I got to meet her dad. But they had up at Kybers, it's on Highway 80 going from Sacramento to Lake Tahoe. They have a cabin up there, and that was the cabin that's there. Well, Mary Alice had also a cabin, and I don't know, it was in the 78 to 82. We went up there for a weekend, and it took us because it was all snow. It took us a long time to dig in because we had to have a shovel, and we had to dig in to get inside. And I said, "This is crazy. Who would want to have a house where you have to dig your way through snow to get in through the front door?"
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Brent, can you see that?
Yeah,
That's
I-
that picture that you're talking about that's on the wall
Yeah.
behind me. Makes
yeah,
them look like they're
Oh,
dancing.
yeah. It's a big cat.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm with Keith also. I would never want to live somewhere where I have to dig my way in or out of snow.
that's crazy. Yeah, so when we got inside, then she makes hot chocolate. That was one of her things. But if you look at my son's email, it has Lemon in it, and that's after her, Mary Alice Lemon. And when she's passed away now, but when she was retired, 3 people took her place.
Yep, that happens sometimes.
Yeah.
People don't even appreciate what someone does or how much they do. They just think, oh, yeah, it's getting done, but don't stop to think how much work someone's putting into it.
So, so Marty, your picture reminds me of a story Dale Rogers told on Johnny Carson. Dale Rogers was Roy Rogers' wife, right? And so she said that she got him every Christmas. She got him a brand new pair of cowboy boots, and he loved, his new cowboy boots. And he left them out on the porch, and a cougar came along and chewed up his boots. And she said the next thing you know, he went out on his horse. And he went out in the mountains with his gun, and a couple hours later, he came down. And he had the cougar strapped on the back of the horse, and he went and shot the cougar or mountain lion. And Johnny Carson said, "Well, what did you say?" She said, "I said, pardon me, Roy. Is that the cat who chewed your new shoes?"
That's funny. Chattanooga new shoes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Anyway, I set up at a camp one time, Keith, really far up north, and when you stay in those camps, the most important person in the camp is the cook, because you got all these hungry, men coming in from work, and if you got a lousy cook, it makes for a lousy day. But if you got a good cook, everybody's happy. We had a new guy, and for about a week, everything that we ate tastes like gasoline. Didn't matter what it was. You could have pancakes taste like gasoline. potatoes and gravy taste like cabbage. Couldn't figure it out. And people were getting really, really upset because they couldn't eat their breakfast or lunch or whatever. So finally, one of the guys went around and walked through everything with the cook, and what he had done was when they brought in new supplies, they put the flour into a barrel. The barrel that he gave them to put the flour into was an old diesel barrel. So everything that had flour in it tasted like diesel because he put the flour in a diesel barrel. So anyway, it wasn't very long before he was run out of town, and we got new flour and a new cook.
Wow. You're talking about weather and how you wouldn't want to live in the snow. When I was a kid, we were in, of course, Durango, and it snowed. I think it snowed back then more than it is right now, but it might be coming back. But anyway, we were out of town about 13 miles, and we have a river that ran right in front of the house and went around, curved and went around the house. And we had snow, and the river would freeze, and we'd have snow on the ground. Well, as a kid, of course, we had Christmas, so I loved the snow. It meant Christmas, everything was good. But when Christmas was over, I was done. It's like, okay, snow, go away. I want the green grass and stuff. It started to melt, and as it would melt, I would go out there and I would shovel the snow into the river to get rid of it and hope the grass would come back sooner. It was so weird. It didn't help a whole lot, but made me feel better. I'd dig down until I'd get to the grass, and it was frozen, of course, but those were the days I remember.
Well, Brent, that gas taste would have been a reflection of what the basic that it was made in. That's the same thing. And when you look at a person, you see what they do, then you find out what their character is really like.
Yes.
Because somebody puts up this false image of their character, and then when there's a crisis, that's when you find out what their character is like.
Yeah.
So if you want to look at the things that we're going to go through at the time of the end, going to be that's when you're going to see the people's character, the reflection of people's character, of what that they're really made of.
Yeah.
And how strong are they? Or they just all
Yeah.
show and talk? Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's the second time, Keith, today you said something that went along one of the themes of the book. I was waiting to tell Sandy, but I finished everything now. Sandy finished I finished the book basically. It's publisher ready, and so I was going to send a copy to you later on. But what I was thinking of, and I don't know what's your idea, but it'll get published fairly quickly because it's really everything's done. The illustrations, the table of contents, the table of illustrations, everything's done.
Oh, good.
And so I probably can get it published in a few weeks. But I was thinking maybe as a reward to our community that if I send it to you, that you can send everybody a copy of the PDF one, like tomorrow or whatever, so that like Marty and everybody else can get and have a chance to go through it. I don't know if think it's a good idea or not, or that's too much work, or.
Well, a lot of people can do that through email, but Marty can't. But
Okay.
I can send it to the others.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking we could wait and it's going to be available and on Kindle and all that sort of stuff too. But I don't know. I'm going to definitely have Ryan and Sheldon take a look at it and see if they can help me get it published quickly. It should be like a no-brainer from here. I mean, literally every single thing it's all in one format and it's all completely done. It was, and it's actually, I'm proud of it because it's actually a book. Like before was probably a series of short studies, not and
Right.
but now it's actually a book, from beginning to end, and it has a flow to it. And there's one new thing I shared in there that I haven't shared with you guys before. And there's a couple things that I had to take out just because as I was doing it, I remember when my computer went out a few weeks ago and shut
Yeah.
down. So I had a new discovery, a really pretty profound one. And I would try it twice to write about it, and both times I tried, uh, something, my computer shut down. And I know it's not a bad thing. I know it's actually a really good thing, but it's maybe a little bit too revealing, in terms of the time of the end, and maybe too close to um, being able to like set a date or whatever. It doesn't set a date, but it sure narrows it down, and it's based on the 1,260 days and based on. So I decided, no, that this is one of those not yet things. Like, this is something I'm going to study more myself.
God knows.
Yeah, and I'll put it into the next one, the next book.
Yep.
So because of that, there's some numbers that kind of led me there, which were from the tabernacle covering, like the 1120 dimension covering, and the tabernacle boards, the 46.666 boards. So I didn't include those in this book, and just sort of more for Chris reference, and not because I didn't want to share them, but because they really lead up into that next one. So, but I have a lot of illustrations in there, and it's mostly about the ark and the mercy seats, because I need those other numbers for the next testimony that that we'll talk about this year.
So
You
it's
know,
not about the tabernacle and the boards?
yeah, there's some in there, but it's not. But I didn't do.
Well, you better make the next one short and quick because people are going to want to see it because
Yeah,
everything you
that's
said they want to see. So don't leave much out or you're going to make people disappointed.
no, but I did it the way that, I mean, I'm proud of. It's very, very thorough, and if but at the same time, I'm just starting again, just start writing again for this year's book, and I'll be sharing it in our Bible exploration meetings and stuff like that, in our holy days. So people will see it here before they see it in the next book, and
Okay.
then, but it'll be in the next one,
Well,
So
it's in your talks already that are on YouTube. So
yeah, not this new thing. It flows right in with it, but it's just hard it's yeah, it's just the picture just keeps getting clearer and clearer, and more um prophetic to me. So, but I really honestly believe that you'll enjoy this book, that people will enjoy this book.
I'm sure they will. People are looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it. Yes, I am.
Same here.
Yeah, I accomplished what I wanted to do, and so it'll literally, I'll be able to send Sandy a copy, literally tomorrow. I gotta do the one little tweak on the cover page, and that's it.
Well, you
So
know, God is a lot of things have happened and a lot of delays for a lot of different things, as you know, Brent, but God has a reason for everything. I don't
yeah,
think they just happen. I think that he's allowing and causing and helping and what have you for
yeah,
a lot of things in our lives right now, as you
yeah,
know. So it'll
yeah.
all be good.
Yeah, well,
A round of applause for getting it done.
Yeah.
what's that? What was that, Barbara?
I said a round of applause for getting it done.
Yeah, it really, and it really is a book now. It really is, it's something where, like I said before, it was a bunch of short studies, kind of related and unrelated. But now it really follows the covenant right from the garden right to Revelation, and it ties things together in a way where, at the very least, it brings a lot of understanding to the covenant, and by doing that, you bring a lot of understanding of why it can't change, why why the laws and why everything is it's all part of the covenant, and so anyway, I'll look forward to your feedback, but I'm just real excited. I was just looking before I got on at the final version. Just very, very happy with it. So, but I don't mind. I mean, I don't mind sending out a copy to people in advance, like a PDF copy, because I know that they'll still want to get a book because it's just easier to have it in a book form than it is a bunch of 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper. So whatever you think, Sandy.
Sounds good.
All right.
Brent, do you this week's Torah reading? I saw something that jumped out at me, and I go, I'm sure Brent knows this. Do you know that the Book of the Covenant was given to the people of Israel before the Ten Commandments?
Yes, I wrote about that in my book.
Uh,
It was already Moses already started recording it before, because if you look at the timing, it's before he goes up the mountain that he
correct. Yeah.
that he sacrifices the animals and puts the blood and sprinkles it on the people, and said, and he sprinkles it on the Book of the Covenant. So he actually started writing it already, and into the journey, and then God says to him up in the mountain, right, or after the tenor of this pattern, I've made a covenant with you. So, and then of course we know where it ends in Deuteronomy. Moses said when they got to the border of the promised land that he wrote the last words of the book of this covenant, and then he gave it to the Levites to put beside the Ark of the Covenant. So it has a beginning and then it has an ending, but everything that was revealed to him, by God, whether it was by vision, whether it's by pattern, or whether it's just by observation in their, in all the things they went through. And so, well, how can we discover what that is? Well, in those first 5 books of Moses, it's the same thing. He writes about everything that he heard or he saw or he was shown in his whole lifetime, because he never saw creation. He had to be, shown that or told about that. So really the 5 books of Moses are the covenant code, the law and the testimony. So anyway, but I got to some good, some pretty good time to kind of sew it all together. So hopefully it's something, and plus I know that Barbara will appreciate there's some really good reference tables in there. So, even if you just use it as a reference book for the tabernacle, if you want to
Sounds
show.
good.
What's that?
I said it sounds good.
Yeah, so if you want to show somebody, well, here's the boards and here's the sockets and here's like you just can't find online anywhere. You can't find a board layout with the proper boards corners. So I've created my own and um, you know, but yeah, like I said, I'm anxious to share it with you. So I will do that now.
Sounds very exciting. I know things are getting really crazy, and I know that
Yeah.
it's just, I suppose people back in the day thought it was too, but
Well, we're living actually in biblical times now, though. We're living, when you think about Peter and Paul and the times that they lived in were times of fulfillment, right? Times where or Noah or Enoch or Abraham, like those were all times of fulfillment. So of course those are very crazy times because God's covenant response was about to happen or was happening. And, he said that I'll put my enmity between, thee and the woman and her seed. So every time, when you hear about the world getting more wicked or whatever, that's when you can expect God's, covenant response. And he does. He calls Enoch to preach, and he calls Noah to prepare the vessel of salvation, and he calls Abraham out of his country, calls Moses, and they're all covenant people that and here we have this special thing where this last calling, we're called to witness. We're the ones being called. So it's not surprising things are getting crazy. It's actually surprising that things aren't getting more crazy. So, although I do think that they're getting more crazy, I can't understand. I can't even understand the good guys anymore.
Right. It changes daily, and it is. I mean, I didn't really look at things when I was a kid, of course, but being 68, things are not what they were, even 5, 10 years ago.
Well,
We thought then that things were really getting bad, but this is just daily, and it's insane. Demonic is the world is just, you really need to find Jesus, hang on and not let go, and just don't look at other people. Don't find some ministry you're going to follow, this one or any of them. Learn and share and be strong, just you and him, because it's just not good.
Well, the good thing is, I kind of emphasize this a lot, but studying Revelation and really understand it isn't for fear, isn't for panic. And that's why I hate people that say, "Hey, blah blah blah, this is the sign or whatever." It's for preparation and instruction for God's people.
Amen.
So it's so that you're prepared and those are the people that are going to hear the warnings and know ahead of time what to do. It's not.
When it happens, you don't freak out. You just know that it's.
Well, because you're already the virgin with the oil. You're already doing the walk. You're already studying and preparing for what he's already given. So you're going to be the first to get, the new thing because you're already following his instructions, and that's what like I said, Revelation is instruction to and revelation to his people to prepare them, so anyway.
And yes, Mel, we've already discussed Peter and stuff. She said,
Yeah,
remember Peter in the storm. We're not even in the hardest part yet. We must never take our eyes off Jesus even for a moment. And don't look to your friends and family. Don't look to any particular person. I mean, people are just saying, oh, this in the news, that in the news, and oh, I know this is happening, all this stuff. Well, we know it's happening, but put that aside. That's a distraction.
Gonna run out of space over there for snowmen.
Well, it's going to be more as we go on. It's going to be more manifest all the time. And in Revelation, where it says, "And they worship the dragon, which is Lucifer, who gave the power to the beast." It's going to be more pronounced and more evident all the time that the people that they are worshiping is not the beast, but it's Lucifer himself.
George and Barbara, are you saying something?
Oh, sorry, we didn't know the mic was on.
Uh-huh.
We're making our lunch.
Oh, yummy. Are we invited?
What are we having?
Haystacks.
Okay, I'll be there.
I love it. I think haystacks is an Adventist word, isn't it? Did they invent it or was? Yeah, because I had said something and I'm like, isn't that haystacks? And people looked at me and I'm like, oh, I think it's an Adventist word.
I've heard it in other places too, though. And I know the whole idea is from way back because I used to work at A&W and they had Frito pies, which were the same thing, only Fritos instead of the chips, but I still use Fritos. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
just good, easy food where you get a whole salad with everything in it, and it's easy to make, and I could eat it every day.
There's,
I
there's
think
sure,
People
Frito
use
Pies
rice in place of
Yeah.
the chips.
they're sure popular at fairs and stuff like that. It's the church where my mother-in-law attends. So they have a 10-day little county sort of fair, and so they rent a booth out, and that's all they do is haystacks. And man, it's lined up for blocks around their little booth. You get all those hamburger places and whatever, and then you got this little Adventist, haystack thing. They raise money for the church. Like, I mean, more money in that 10 days than the whole rest of the year. Like all
Well,
the
it's funny because you go to a restaurant and you can get a what is it called? A taco salad. And that's
Yeah.
exactly the same thing. It's in a huge shell that's fried, which I love. And it's the same thing. So they just somehow made it, and it was in our schools a lot, but the idea has been there. But I think it's just good. It's just a big salad.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say when Ron said you can use rice instead of chips. I'm like, oh, that's a taco salad without the taco.
But the taco's the best part.
Yeah, it is.
But we'll be over, George and Barb, so make sure your table's big enough.
And then we'll head over to Ron's to have some taco salad without the taco, but we'll bring the taco.
I like the
Actually,
chips.
if you study Adventist history, haystacks was invented by a cook at a Adventist academy, but I can't remember which one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mm.
I guess to use it that way because it made it easy, but I don't know.
Well, people nowadays, we don't have haystacks, at least if you live in in the modern world, not the country or the cities. So haystacks had to have been from way back then, kind of like George just mentioned,
It'd be interesting to live in the time when you have things that are going on like that, like academies and all working together towards the same goal,
Right.
not like that at all today either. They can't even get a little, high school to agree on a direction, amongst themselves. Never mind, coordinating big things like that, So
I remember Frito pies at the restaurant I would make. The exact same thing. They were just with Fritos. They were good. A lot of people bought them. The little bitty plates that they had, paper plate things.
my
But
mom used to make these she called them crepes, but they were very, very thin. They were white, like they were like a very thin white roll, flour thing, whatever, with full of strawberries and whipped cream, but
Yep.
just the whole, it was just the way she made it was incredible, So I've never even had them in a restaurant or anywhere else. So that was the same. That was as good, but wow.
You used to know this woman, instead of calling them crepes, she called them creeps.
Yeah.
My mom used to make tacos, and when she made tacos, my favorite are the ones that you fry, the tortillas.
Yeah.
And my mom would always say, don't ever eat them with company. And if the grease doesn't run down to your elbow, you're not eating them right.
I just asked AI if haystacks was an Adventist thing, and it said yes.
Oh,
Haystacks are closely associated with Adventist culture. Haystacks were a popular dish among Adventists, often enjoyed at potlucks, community gatherings, and layered taco salad typical includes ingredients with like beans, chips,
Yeah.
salad greens, and tomatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's true, the name haystacks because of the chips, but the food itself
Yeah,
has been around made that way just with different things. But
sure.
and who made that? Who made that AI? An Adventist?
Have to
That's
add in
Chat GPT.
Well,
Well, here,
Keith, I
this,
had Googled, since talking about AI, I had Googled about Mary Ellis Lemon. Hold on, let me tell you what it says. Miss Lemon is a fictional secretary in the whatever, in some series. Supposedly on the AI, it says she's a fictional character. So I know it's not true because you've met her, but
I
Crazy
found
things
this
out
on
there.
I found this on Wikipedia. George and Barbara, a Seventh-day Adventist named Ella May Hartland is credited with coming up with the recipe for this version of haystacks in the early 1950s, when she and her family craved tostados and could not find a Mexican restaurant close to their home.
There you go. Yeah.
See, I think the name is everything. You know, when it's a great name. Like,
Well, the first time we had it was at our baptism. And when they told us we were having haystacks, we looked at them like they were crazy.
yeah,
I'm not a cow. Yeah.
but yeah, it just makes it, you can kind of relate to it after you know what it is and you hear the name. It's like, yeah, let's go get some haystacks.
I never understood the name myself, but
guess
Well-
what? This whole conversation has made me hungry for haystacks. Okay.
Hey, I have haystacks on my menu. I had my son create the menu this time around, and he put haystacks on there, even though my husband doesn't eat them. So we have to find something for him to eat, but everybody else is looking forward to it.
Sounds good to
he
me.
eats a salad, doesn't he? That's all it is.
Oh, but it has chips and everything's touching.
Take out the chips. Just have them just
Put
do a
it on your
separate
plate
salad. For him.
separate. Yep.
Just give them the hay.
There you go.
There's also a Mexican, I think it's Mexican salad my mom used to make. And it was like a regular salad, but it had veggie burger in it, fried veggie burger in it, and cheese. And then it was a French dressing, I think is what she put on it. And that was just well known. I don't know where that came from either, but it had the chips in it, had everything just mixed together. So food is funny, but sure is good. And people complain because the Adventists always had their dessert table, but that's the place I'd go first. It was yummy. All kinds of food. You don't have to eat it, but people gripe. It's like, well, then don't eat it. And of course, the first thing I went to besides that was macaroni and cheese.
Oh yeah.
And if they said vegan, now I tasted vegan that's good, but back then, if it was vegan, it's like, no, 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 don't ruin my macaroni and cheese.
Oh yeah.
But
After dinner can't beat it on a budget.
yeah, but we're on our way, George and Barbara. So hang on, we'll be there in a minute. There better be some left.
I'm going to sign off. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. So nice chat with everybody today, and Sandy, I'll call you tomorrow and
Okay.
I'll send you out that PDF and you can distribute it to whoever you like.
Okay. Well, thank you for being on here, and we're still waiting for Kimber to get on. Anybody that's listening, he'll be on in a few minutes, and we'll get started. And I'll be turning it off and back on when he gets on, so that it will start fresh, so the YouTube doesn't have all of our talking on it before him.
He'll appreciate an early start. He's always very punctual. So, okay.
Well, enjoy the rest of your day, Brent.
Okay, see
Thank you for
everybody
being
next week.
on.
Okay,
Get your rest.
thank you.
Can I share an interesting story that happened this week to me?
Yes.
Well, I dental appointment this week. I think it was on Tuesday. But the day before that, my husband forgot his phone at home. So I went to town to bring him his phone. And before I left his work, I ended up with a flat tire. So I would have gotten that flat tire on my way to the dentist, But God decided to give me the flat tire and make Terry forget his phone so I would be in a safe place when the tire popped and I could get everything taken care of before I went to the dentist. So I love that our God is so gracious and loving that he will cause an event to happen early just to keep us safe. And I just want to offer a praise to him for doing that. Oh, and the timing was perfect too, because we had just gotten our money back from our taxes. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had the money to take care of it. So,
Amen.
praise be to God.
Yeah, it'd be interesting when we get to heaven, when we can look at all the times that he has saved our physical lives by providing inconveniences for us that actually saved our lives.
Amen. And then you'll be embarrassed at the time because you'll be like, man, I
Yeah.
was so mad. Yeah.
Yeah, inconveniences are part of his plan, I believe, for more than one reason. Yes,
Character building.
yes, definitely character building. Can we really be thankful when we're frustrated? You know, can we turn it around and say, wait, God's got a plan in here. I need to stop being frustrated. I need to stop complaining. I need to praise him in this event. And then we find out later, oh my goodness, I'm glad that happened. And I think there's going to be a lot more, like you said, Keith. When we get to heaven and we see them all, because right now we can only see maybe a handful compared to how many times he's actually, caused things to go a specific direction for our good.
How many times have you lost your keys? Couldn't find your keys to go outside, couldn't find your wallet or whatever. It's like, oh man, I gotta go. I'm gonna be late. Come on. And you might make it on time, but just those few seconds can make a difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
He sees it all, and I know the devil has his hand in it.